Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
She said Sunday.
Welcome into this Thursday morning. The time is 9:20 because it's time for Later Thursday.
Oh, yay!
And this time we aren't just talking about the 90th, the big 90. It's your time to talk about the 91st season.
I know. It's a little confusing for people because we launched the next season in the spring, even though we have our big May musical of Singing in the Rain.
Yep.
And it's raining. They tested it out. We've danced on the floor. It'll work.
Is everyone safe on the rain?
Oh, yes. It's very expensive paint that
I
keeps
bet.
them on the floor and the trough underneath and the drilling of the holes. I mean, it was a building masterpiece. But you can't even put set pieces or anything until everything's in the ceiling and everything's painted and everything's done.
Did Kevin do all that work at Brent?
He did.
Or Brent?
He did.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Yeah, mostly Kevin had people staring at him going, wow, you think that'll work? You think that'll
A lot of union supervisors on the job.
Yes, but it works. And when Eric came in last night, he's the character who plays Don. We're like, you're going to be soaked. I'm going to have to dry his clothes every night.
So before we dive into the 91st season, Singing in the Rain, what are the dates?
It is May 2nd. No, May 10th. I'm sorry, May 10th through the 19th. I was thinking ahead. May 10th through the 19th. Mm-hmm. It'll be right around the corner.
It's flying by. We've talked about this, and I told you a year ago that February and March are like the longest months of the year. These have been the most overwhelming February and March months that I've ever experienced in 6 years in media.
Well, and I always say this, but I really mean it this time. This show is a little overwhelming with costumes. And again, I hired a young, wonderful new costumer from St. Louis who works a lot with Stray Dog Professional Theater. And I love her. But she thought she had the whole month of April, which would make sense, except that we have to film all of the silent movie parts that are parts of the musical. We have to film those on the 13th and 14th. And you know, I'll be in the hospital then.
Yes.
They have to film them on the 13th and 14th. And I had pulled the Marie Antoinette dresses, and we're still on the lookout for, you know, that hair that's 3 feet tall and all those things. And her eyes got really big, and she's like, she's in another show until the 12th. So I will talk to her again, but I won't ever see her until after that. So 75 costumes for 21 actors. It's just constant.
Is it worse than Spam-A-Lot?
Yes, it is worse.
Really?
I didn't think
and I hate to use that word worse, but it's a nightmare to get all that going.
Yes.
And and I hate to be the patronizing guy, but it's a testament to the backstage crew, but also to the actors and performers and actresses that are able to switch out and switch on in a moment's notice and get back out there.
Well, it's funny you said that because Josh Sarver was the jester, but he also played the backstage person. So when Kevin asked him, he said, well, it couldn't be worse than Spam-A-Lot. We both went, well.
Josh, you're a team player, man. You are a team player. Well, and just for me and my experience with performing for you guys, I had a very, and I hate to say it, it was a part, but I didn't have to remember that much. I didn't have to leave the stage, but once
you were pretty static.
I had my outfit. It was all done. I had my little charcoal on my face. Life was looking good. I don't know how I'd act with all these different, all right, now you're off, and now you're back on, and now get this costume on, and you got 20 seconds, get back out there. That's a lot of work.
Well, and just the wigs. Because again, 1927, even though we kind of fudged a little bit going into the 30s, it was Hollywood after all. Because you can't have everybody in flapper hair. Right. But my fear is that they have to know I'm not just changing costumes and putting on my tap shoes. I have to be blonde now because I'm a Busby big leaguer here.
Well, what is your takeaway for the audience on this? Is this one that they're going to it's just one of those kind of sentimental ones where they watch it, they're going to feel the nostalgia from Singing in the Rain and all of that good stuff?
Yes, but what I'm pleasantly surprised is how many people your age love Singing in the Rain. And I'm like, well, I guess they've seen it on movies, or they just love Gene Kelly, or they dream about being the kind of dancer he was. So I think it's going to entertain everyone.
Interesting. You know what? It's interesting because in my history of motion pictures, and this is 7 years ago in high school, 8 years ago now. God, I'm like a Honda Accord. I'm racking up those city miles, Lee. We watched Singing in the Rain, and we watched a ton of movies, Casablanca, all the original classics. Everyone stayed for Singing in the Rain, and I could not figure it out in high school. I don't know what it is, but there is an infatuation with Singing in the Rain.
And I'm so happy because I read this article. I was really struggling with my vision of costumes because, again, the movie was made in the 50s. It's supposed to take place in 27 because, of course, the talkies were coming in. But I looked at some of those costumes that Debbie Reynolds had on. I was like, that was not 1927. And they admitted that they blended some styles and generations, so they could dance.
Yes.
And just because some were very petite, some were larger. And I thought, okay. And they said, but nobody cares because everybody loves this movie. And I'm like hoping that's going to carry on here because, yes, we go from the French Revolution and there's a little flavor of the 40s and 50s that creeps in some of the outfits because, again, modern people, they're fairly large, sometimes even good dancers and things. They're not a size 0, although we do have a size 0 girl, and she wears a 3 in kids' shoes, and then we have another girl who wears a size 11. Sort of difficult to find the same tap shoes for all 9 girls.
All have experience tapping around?
Yes.
That's a win-win. Did you have enough try out, too?
Not enough, guys. We had to go on the lookout, and the gentleman who was playing in Sweeney Todd, and I didn't know Eric, but the first time I saw his picture in Sweeney Todd, I'm like, ooh, what's going on?
Where's Sweeney Todd at?
Oh, it was at Al Fresco.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he plays the murderer, and he's very rough, and he has hair here. So once he cleaned up, I was like, oh, thank God.
Well, and I wanted to make sure we promoted that. And you're going to see a ton about Singing in the Rain, just like what we did with Alabama Story. We've been splitting up the dates, so that way you aren't seeing all the dates in a row.
Right.
You're going to get the Thursday, Friday, all individual. Oh, sorry.
And the end of the month.
And the end of the month, too.
We'll talk about it. I'll be better then.
Yeah. and absolutely. But the big thing is the 91st season is here.
Yes. And we have started selling season tickets. And the advantage is people save $5 off, plus they get another $5 ticket to use for any of the extra. Mm-hmm. And I have been thinking about this a lot, and it's because I saw some ad on TV, when I was streaming a show, about the couch potato show.
Yep.
And it was kind of amusing, and I thought that is part of what all live theaters, not just we're dealing with, but during COVID, people stayed in. They didn't socialize that much. They certainly weren't going to go where big crowds were. They will tell us, oh, we just got out of the habit. We love coming here, but we just got out of the habit. Yep. And, of course, I need them to get back in the habit to survive. And what I've talked to a few people about is that you can get excellent theater, 5 excellent shows for $85. And even if you bought everything, every single thing we have going on next year, it's $210. So I'm like, you added a dinner out, even if you only take your partner out once a year, a few drinks and dinner, that's $300. If you want to be a couch potato the rest of the year, go ahead, but that's 10 nights of entertainment. So you can feel good and say, honey, that was it. That's your birthday and anniversary.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so many other things. I mean, $210 for all those shows is absolutely remarkable. And, I hate to say it, I've seen people at different places in Alton, whether or not it's, a restaurant, a bar, or maybe even a dispensary, spend more than that in a time to the cash register. And so why not do something where you're supporting a landmark, and what you guys are is a landmark. Alton Little Theater 100% is. Support them, but also go out and do something, because we've talked about this. It's so hard to start the train over once it stops.
Oh, it is. And we know that not every single product is going to appeal to every
Right.
single person. Although I have to tell you, I had a little misgiving about will we be able to sell at Rocky Horror? Let's just say the over 60 set is buying tickets.
Yeah.
Which really surprised me.
That I knew that would just be full. Before you even got to the promotion of it, it'd be people
because
ready
I
to go.
haven't really even
No.
talked about it. And it is one of those shows, it's a little difficult to describe to people who haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
If they've seen the movie, then they have some idea about what the stage
Just tell them, if you
version
like
is.
Meatloaf, go on over and watch Rocky Horror Picture. That's what I tell them. If you think Bad at Hell is one of the greatest albums of all time, just go on over to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, we have so many young people who are so enthused. And it's one of the things we have to do for our younger generation of actors, because we just feel like they need to have a chance to really strut their stuff. And some of the other musicals, the roles are a little more mature. There's all ages in Singing in the Rain, but we're doing Putman, 25th County, Spelling Bee, and then of course we're doing Oliver, and everyone thinks that's all kids because we've been pushing that we need 10 or 12 youth performers. It also has 12 adult performers, and they are very, very important and just incredible roles with incredible songs.
I'm not being funny. Oliver is, please, sir, can I have some more, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
it
I'm
is.
not being funny. I was trying to remember.
Yes.
Before we go through the list of what's coming down the pipeline, I want to give a big call to action. Consider contributing to Alton Little Theater. And I really do mean this. Alton Little Theater, you guys provide so many opportunities for young actors, performers to hone in their craft with these summer acting courses, plus just all the opportunity you give so many young performers and performers of all ages, whether or not it's for a performance, maybe they're getting some directing reps in, maybe they're getting some behind the stage and scenes reps in. All of those things help their career, and you give them a great opportunity and a space to do that. If you have the opportunity, please consider supporting an area landmark in Alton Little Theater this year. It's tax deductible, 501c3, and you can sponsor and support at $1,000, a $500 level, a $250 level, a $100 level, or even a $99 level and up, because all that money is really going to go a long way in terms of keeping the lights on, making sure we're getting all the greatest costumes we can, all the new effects, because folks, those computers and everything that Kevin's doing with rain on the stage.
Oh, cords like this. I just ordered 32 yards of this, and I was like, how much?
Exactly. Well, like this microphone, these 3 microphones, folks, are $500.
Yeah.
Just for the microphone, not the cord. You get the cords, that's an extra $100.
Right.
The board is another $1,000, and I have the smallest board you can get on purpose. I mean, all these things really do come at a cost. And to be able to say, hey, I'm not only supporting Alt Little Theater, you're supporting area performers to continue and to hone their craft and maybe take the next step. And what I think is good to highlight too, Lee, is that the fact that your performers are coming from sometimes some very big stages in St. Louis and coming over to give us that entertainment too.
Yes, and they love it. And in fact, one of the people who started performing, Christopher Plotz, I'll give him a little plug here. I think he was in his first show 5 years ago, but he's a little bit of a gypsy. But he now, if I say it correctly, props, I can't say it too fast, but he's made the vintage filming camera and the vintage microphones because they're an integral part of this show. And you just can't buy those working mics anymore. We have to use other mics and then build them around that.
Right.
Because we're filming silent films. This is a big part of the comedy that silent films, not everyone had a speaking voice. And in fact, some of the stars actually hated each other and would say terrible things to each other that when everyone thought, oh, they're in love and they're going to be America's couple. So then they started dubbing.
Yep.
And in the movie, it was hysterical that the woman who played the sort of witch, she actually had a deeper, almost a baritone voice. And so some of the songs that Debbie Reynolds was supposed to sing, she couldn't reach those notes. So they reversed the dubbing even in the movie. See, I've been studying everything that they did in the movie. And I love Gene Kelly, but apparently he was a taskmaster and scared a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why Debbie Reynolds said, having a child and being in this movie was the two hardest things I ever did.
Well, and another thing too that I think is really cool about this is, I mean, just hitting on it real quick, is the fact that some of these silent movie performers that were loved and beloved, the moment the microphone came out, they were gone, because you just said it right on the head. Their speaking voice was so bad. I mean, it wasn't even funny.
Oh, and Corinne Jones, who people will remember, she was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. She has a fabulous voice. She's a beautiful girl, one of the sweetest kids I've ever. I call her my kid, but you know, she's 19, almost 20. She plays Lena. She plays the witch, and her voice, I mean, only because she has such a trained voice can she do this without actually ruining her real voice. But she is so funny. The sad part is Lena, that character, is not in any of the dance number. And Corinne's a fabulous dancer. But, you know, as I said, we have a lot of other young women who they just seem to still take ballet and tap, where we have Lorraine Warford, who can just do anything. And even Eric said, can he kind of dance around me a little more? He said, you know, I'm a dancer, but not climbing walls.
Well, and let's get into, because we have about 10 minutes before we got a boogie. Let's talk about the kickoff to the 91st season, which is the Extra Extra Entertainment series, correct, with your Disney tribute?
It is, and I want to tell everyone, because even though it was in Riverbender, I did not know that Chris Cakes, the pancake man who's doing the pancake breakfast with the princesses, 2 of them, on June 1st, he's lowered his price to $12 for everyone.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so if nobody's ever seen him, he's hysterical. He does a whole show. Yes, he does throw pancakes at people.
Get your glove out.
But all the princesses will be there. So that is, if you have 2, 3, 4-year-olds, that's a little too young for the show.
Yeah.
I mean, they might want to see the Disney concert if they are used to that. But normally, that's too young. So this was specifically something for the younger children and families and grandparents. And I guarantee they will love seeing the princesses up close and having a pancake breakfast.
And you won't have to spend $1,300 just to walk into, you know, Disney World to get that done.
Exactly. They'll think they've been to Disney, yes.
Yeah.
And Becca Peach, one of our new members, is in charge of that, and she dreamed this up, and they've got some wonderful costumes. Most of the guys are kind of playing villains, and I said, now don't you scare the kids. Do not scare
Don't bring that hook out, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, so that actually starts May
cool.
31st, when actually we start the new season June 1st. But because of the weekends and because Kevin was adamant, I have got to have at least 7 weeks for Oliver. You know, the calendar is often dictated by how big the show is and how many people. So
also, open house.
Yes.
April the 28th. I want to give that a big plug.
Oh, thank you.
This is where you have the opportunity, and this is not me putting a work on you. This is me telling you for a fact. Listen, I have not been to Alton Little Theater until we started our conversations. When I walked in and watched Violet Sharp, it was amazing, and my whole world was turned upside down because I kicked myself for not knowing about the great incentive and the great opportunities we have over at the show place. Bring your little ones. Bring the elementary schoolers in your life.
Yeah,
what are
8
the
to
ages?
17. And again, it's totally free. We're not, trying to hook people, but I know what will happen. We are only having 2 classes of 12 students from July 8th to whatever 2 weeks from that is. And so I know people will say, well, I didn't know about it. So we wanted to not only talk to them about the class and see if they want to register, but then talk to them about auditions for Oliver, which is the 11th and the 18th of May. So that's why we're having the open house early so that they know and they know what's expected. Because if we say bring a prepared song, a lot of people are like, Do I have to bring someone to play the piano? Most of the kids know I just pull it up on my phone on karaoke and then we plug it in to the sound system. But the parents sometimes don't know that. And it's also it's a way for the parents to see there's a team of people. We supervise these kids. There's 2 adults with a child at all times. Our building is huge. It's absolutely huge. And
it is.
Do they try and find things to play with that they should? Maybe. Mostly the boys.
Most of my nephew.
But we had such fun last year. But Randy Manning, who you know, he has
Wonderful
a little
man.
studio down here on Bell. Wonderful little studio. So we're actually holding the classes Monday through Thursday there so that Kevin can be building this huge set with stairs and everything for Oliver and no one will get hurt.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons. And so 12 kids from the 8 to 12 and then another 12 from 13 to 17.
And, you know, that's a huge point with really having the parents come in. And now coaching the middle school soccer team, it's really apparent to me how much concern parents have anymore, and rightfully so.
Absolutely. And we've always had open auditions and open attendance at rehearsals. We would like them not to direct or coach, but if they want to come in, and last summer, most of the parents came in the first time or once in a while when they were dropping off because they had a little one who wanted to watch. And that's great. I understand in this world, they need to get to know us and see what their kids are doing. And some of the kids would lose their scripts and then the kids didn't want to call me. So I get, calls from parents, but that's what that's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and so while we have you too, here's what's coming down the pipeline in the Extra Entertainment series. We just talked about the Disney tribute. That's May 31st through June the 9th, that entire run. Oliver will be August the 2nd through the 11th. There will be matinees on the 4th, the 10th, and the 11th of August. Rocky Horror, the musical, will be perfect timing through Halloween, October the 25th through November 3rd with a great performance at midnight.
And who volunteered to usher? Yours truly.
Lee Cox did.
I don't need to sleep on Halloween.
Plus, the best of the best Broadway concert.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. November the 23rd and the 24th. I love those dates. I think that's always a safe date. But also, wanting to get really quick into the lineup of official shows for the 91st season, you are starting off with Making God Laugh. Family comedy. What are your thoughts on this? I've never heard of Making God Laugh. I know I should, but I'm not.
It's by Sean Grennan, the same guy who wrote Beer for Breakfast.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
and he's kind of revised it. I read it twice. It came very close to being picked before, and then he sort of updated it. And I love it, and I love the sentiment. We think we have total control and know what our kids are going to do or what they should do and how they're going to turn out. And it goes over 3 decades.
I love it.
And the poor mom is like, what? He did what?
And then following the Making God Laugh show is one of my favorites ever, and that's A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
You're going to be sold out every day. I have no
hope
doubt.
so. John Jakes, who, again, you might know, writes beautiful history books.
Yep.
He's taken the script and adapted it, keeping all the essential elements, but the script is about to become public record so that anyone,
public domain.
so that anybody could kind of play with it a little bit.
You see what they did to poor Mickey Mouse?
Yeah. See, I don't like that, but a historian who even wants it to reflect the time a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, it has some magic in it that people don't think about. But on the stage version, it's really a lot of fun.
We haven't talked about public domain yet. That would be fascinating. That's what we're going to talk about. We'll have to talk about that a little bit next time around, whenever we have time. The X's. Fill me in. This sounds fun.
Oh, this is a wonderful woman who lives out in Connecticut. She's just charming. And she wrote this script, and now it's published. When I first met her, it wasn't. There's a whole community in Connecticut there. They moved from New York, and she's just adorable.
Wow.
And she's so sweet. And the women in this are a little interesting. The ex shows up for the daughter's wedding after saying no, she couldn't possibly be there, but she creates pandemonium.
Oh, I bet she did. That'll be fun.
Oh, it's very funny. It's extremely funny.
And then, as Lee said earlier, as we got a couple of minutes, we're on a time. I want to make sure we get all of this for our the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. That's always fun.
It's their 25th anniversary, but yes, some people did say, why are they doing a spelling bee? It's a musical. It's a really funny musical with great songs. And yes, adults play high school students, but it's all about the angst of those years and trying to win something so you can get into college, so you can be successful and all those things.
Is Women of a Certain Age a new play?
It's fairly new, yes. Stephen Dupre, another member from the New York community, moved to Connecticut, and he sent it to me, and it's just delightful because these women feel like they're not valued anymore. They've all turned 55, 60. It's a little bit like 80 for Brady. That kind of group. And so they decide they're not done with life yet. But one of them decides, I could break the law just a little bit, maybe, and we could all, raise this baby that doesn't really belong to us.
Well, plus, that's not all. You got the Actors Studio Series continuing with Front Porch. That's by George Bailey.
Yes.
Fill me in on this one.
Well, that gentleman, I wondered why an 80-year-old gentleman living in San Diego, why did you write about the night that Martin Luther King Jr. was killed? And he said, because my mother was that white woman who lived in a mixed neighborhood in Birmingham. So he auditioned Marjorie Handy and I on the phone from California because he was very set about how strong. There's not one rescuing the other. Mm-hmm. They're both protective of their children, their community. It's just a beautiful show. So we're doing that one weekend. And then Donna Latham, who lives in Chicago, just won a lot of awards for the Haunted Widow Lincoln. She'll be here for that. And of course, we do the living history tours in town, and we have Amy Miller is our Mary Todd Lincoln, and my husband plays Robert Todd Lincoln. And I told you should come and try out for John
Wilkes Booth. And Nacello is Wilkes Booth in the headline.
Because he's just appearing and truly haunting, terrorizing her. And so, but it's an interesting play of what her life was like once her son, but it was really Senator Stanton who had her committed to the insane asylum.
Yeah. And with that being said, Lee Cox, main stage shows. Let's talk season tickets really briefly. How can we get tickets? How much are they, and why should we do it?
They're $85. They would be a bargain even if you were paying $90, but if you pay $85, then you get automatically a $5 coupon you can use for any other show. If you want to bring somebody to a main stage, if you want to come to the extra, you want to come to the pancake breakfast, you can use that for anything. And that's good to June 1st. And then they go to $90. So, it is a savings, and we didn't want to raise. It was $90 last year, and we kept it $90. We try to keep it for 5 years and not keep increasing the price. That is challenging.
It is. That's really
with
challenging.
The cost of royalties, but we try and make use of everything we have and we can make and we can do, and thankfully we have some talented people who can do that. So really, you couldn't go see 5 shows anywhere else for $85.
No, you couldn't even park in St. Louis for $85 if we want to be honest. We want to park right next to the place.
It's $20, $30, $40 at the Fox now, the close ones. Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane. And then you go to the Cardinals games, it's $55 if you want to park next to the stadium.
You can tell I don't do that.
Yeah, seriously,
but I had
that expensive.
When I couldn't walk a couple months ago, we paid for the close parking, and I was like, whoa.
Now, Lee Cox, I hope everything goes well with your surgery.
Thank you.
You always can text me if you need someone to talk to, but it just shows your hard work. And I'm sorry I was a couple of minutes late. We had some outlying circumstances today, but Lee Cox as always calms me down. You're one of my favorite people to see, and it's because you truly live what you do and you love what you do.
And I'll only be out 2 weeks and 3 days. The back surgeon.
Counting.
He gets me. He said, "You are so stubborn." He said, "I know you will get through this."
Well, I'm just telling you, you better, because I have a countdown timer. I need her back at the end of the month. Lee Cox, we did it again, and I just love you to death.
Oh, I love you too.
We'll take a quick break. Our daily show will roll around the corner on this Thursday morning in downtown Alton after this.